Lemons, try lemons, greens. Cool. Chocolate, chocolates. Under, 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 under. Loco, 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 locomotive.
Hello and welcome to When Music Meets Mindfulness. I'm your host, Vanya Chan. Our featured guest today is Beverley Johnston, one of Canada's leading percussionists. A champion of Canadian music, she has commissioned and performed many works by leading Canadian composers and has been awarded the distinction of Canadian Music Centre Ambassador. In 2024, Beverley was appointed an officer of the Order of Canada and was inducted into the Percussive Society Hall of Fame. In addition to those awards, she was given a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Toronto Musicians Association. She is highly in demand as a soloist and chamber musician and can be heard on several recordings. 7 of those are solo albums. Beverley, it is a great pleasure to have you today for our discussion on music and mindfulness. How are you?
I'm fine, and thank you for having me. This is a real honor for me.
Oh, it's an honor to have you here. Congratulations on all those wonderful awards and achievements. Well deserved, I have to say. And I just wanted to quickly bring up that lovely memory of working together on Alice Ho's Witch on Thin Ice, which is inspired by the life and work of Yoko Ono.
Who actually just turned 92 years old.
Really?
Yes.
That's
Hard to
amazing.
believe.
I had no
Yeah,
idea. That is amazing. She's such a unique artist and such a
yeah.
unique work to do with you, and was an honor to share the stage with you and to
Oh,
feel your
thank
raw energy channeled through your
you.
instruments and through your voice. It was beautiful. So yeah.
Thank you. Well, I was a little bit nervous, I have to admit, because you have such an amazing voice.
Oh no,
So
no, but I
I have
loved.
to sing in
I,
front of Vanya. Oh
No,
no.
no. I loved the connection that we had, just like sort of like seeing each other across the stage and just being able to
Yes,
join
I
forces.
remember
Yeah.
that.
So it was a lovely memory and lovely to have you here. So let's begin our interview, starting with the first topic, calming the mind.
Right.
A cool head and a calm mind is the starting place for focused and productive work. Are there any specific activities that you regularly engage in that help to calm your mind, heighten your awareness, and bring your focus to the present moment?
Yeah, well, I've been performing for many, many years. So I think it was in the 1990s that I really started focusing in on not just practicing my scales and learning my pieces, but also the connection between the mind and the body. And through my investigation, I have found a video that I practice. I think I've been doing it now for about 20 years. It's an organization called Gaiam, and they put out videos for yoga and Pilates and meditation and what have you. So I found this one called AM and PM Stretch, which is kind of a combination of stretching your body and using your breath. And I find that that really helps me. And as I get older, it's more important because I really need to kind of stretch my muscles a little bit, but it also helps me to relax. And I also studied a bit of meditation, which I use occasionally. And I have certain little routines that I do before I walk out onto stage, just to kind of center myself and to also bring the blood back into my body, so to speak. So yeah, it's a combination of all of that. If I'm really busy, I have to be concentrated and in the moment during rehearsals and also performing on stage. So sometimes if I'm just rehearsing, I like to feel like the rehearsal is a performance so that, I'm not freaking out when I get on stage, go, oh my gosh, look at all these people. Also in the 1990s, I read a book about creative visualization by Shakti Gawain, which helped with that too. So, yeah. My friend, colleague, Susan Hepner, flute player, she took lessons with Julius Baker, and Julius, at the end of every single lesson, would have the student perform, because it's a part of it, right? It's not just oh, you played a wrong note there, or the dynamic needs to be this way, or use this technique, all that kind of stuff. It's about performing too. You have to have the energy for the whole recital. So going through everything, even if you have to speak to the audience or whatever, just practicing that whole thing is just as important as working on each individual piece.
Thank you. That's all wonderful advice and very, very important. It's we forget, we zero in too much on the little fine points, and we forget the whole bigger picture of what we need to get through the whole night and the stamina needed for it. So that's all wonderful stuff. Thank you for bringing all of that up. So in relation to we just talked about, there's the second topic, which we can segue into now, are organizing our thoughts.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Can you teach me a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, it's we've already sort of tapped into that topic, which is great, and it's as musicians we learn to organize our thoughts, and we develop our procedures, like our regular go-to processes for practice and performance. And for you in particular, you have a number of percussion instruments to work with, and you shift between them, and sometimes you play them simultaneously. You also bring your beautiful voice to the performance as well. So you coordinate so many different aspects in your performance. Could you share your procedure for preparing that? Like, how do you develop that coordination?
Now, back in the late 80s into the 90s, I decided to get a coach because I had so much on my plate. I just felt like I couldn't handle it all. And one of the things that he taught me was to make a schedule to make the most of my time. So I've been doing that ever since. I think I was doing it even before, but it was just I really needed somebody to tell me this is going to really help you a lot, and indeed it did. So especially for percussionists, because as you say, there's a ton of instruments that you play, and every piece can be different. And so, even in my own studio here, I have to organize how I'm going to set up my studio for all the different pieces that I have, and how can I, in performance, create a program where I can play 2 or 3 pieces within one setup. And that has to do, as I get older, I'm more in control of that kind of thing, because I'll go, oh, I want this composer to write me this piece on vibraphone, but I could possibly have some gongs there. And then the next piece I'll play will be for vibraphone and voice. So I can be within that setup that has the gongs. And, so it just, it's all that organizational stuff. And as I say, percussionists really have to be on top of that.
It's so unique to your discipline to really have to think ahead about the placement of your instruments, like how you can develop that. And we're getting into our third topic here, that sort of flow between shifting from instrument to instrument, and to give yourself that plan so that you're not distracted in the middle of a performance.
So it's also a part of the choreography, so to speak. So as much as I'm practicing the notes when I'm at the bongos or whatever, I'm also figuring out, well, where's my left foot going, because I have to go to the vibraphone here. So it is all about that choreography between instruments.
It's a dance. It's really like a dance. Yeah. And I noticed that about your performance when I watch you, how when you make those transitions, it is just part and parcel of the performance. There is no dropping the focus to just move to an instrument. There's a reason for it. And I love seeing that.
I love the word flow, like you use it, because it has to do with that flow. A lot of percussionists now are into pieces that also involve gesture. So we're very conscious of even when we're just playing the instrument, what is it? What are the hands doing? And do the gestures coordinate with the sound of the music? So it's all of that is integrated into the performance.
I love that. There's that you're thinking about the shape, the visualization of it too, that helps you, but also engages the audience, right, in that way. So let's move on to our third topic, which is what we were sort of just touching on now, flow.
Yeah.
Flow is the state in which a performer's mind and body connection has been finely tuned to the point where performance seems effortless, spontaneous, and enjoyable. And as we improve and become more efficient with our processes, we get to know ourselves better, both as artists and unique individuals. We discover and become aware of our strengths and what we can bring to the table as interpreters and performers. You are known for collaborating with current Canadian composers and premiering new works. Could you discuss your process of collaboration? Do you ask composers to write music that plays to your strengths and material that's new and bold that challenges you? Could you expound on this?
Yeah, well, it depends on the composer. I mean, I've had a little bit of everything from me asking a composer for a specific kind of piece, and then just being asked, "Can you play a piece by this composer?" An example may be. I commissioned a piece by Anne Southam many years ago for vibraphone and gongs and crotales and what have you. And so this is part of what I like to do, and some composers like it, some don't. But she basically had the vibraphone part, and I said, "Well, can we expand it so that we enhance the sound of the vibraphone with also the sound of a gong or the sound of a crotale? Because it'll be a nice mix." So I kind of played around with it myself, and so that was it ended up being sort of a collaboration between the two of us, and I'm dealing with that now. Actually, I'm getting a new piece written as we speak by David Yeager, who was the former CBC producer, and he's doing a lot of composing now. And the piece is, again, for vibraphone, and parts of it are going to be improvised. So I get to do that, which is very exciting for me, because it'll never be the same. And there's an electronic track to it that I have to play with. So that's interesting. And it's for a recording that I'm going to do in the summertime, and the recording is based on iconic and historic female figures. And David's piece is in honor of Norma Beecroft, who was she was one of the founding members of the New Music Concerts. Yeah, back in the 70s. She passed away recently, and he wanted to honor her with this piece. So the electronic part is kind of based on one of her works that she had written for choir, actually, which it was a really beautiful work. So, yeah, and I admired Norma. She was out in the world. It was mostly male-dominated world of electronic music, and also helping to run new music concerts. So she did some extremely invaluable work at the time. So, and then there's another example of not having a piece of music. I was involved in this Zeltzman Marimba Festival, and there were these pieces written for each of the faculty members. I had three composers whose pieces I had to play, and one of the composers hadn't written the piece until the last minute. I'm thinking, how am I gonna learn this piece when I don't have it? So so anyways, what I did was I just studied all the works of the composer. I really dug into the aesthetic of the composer, and that surprisingly really helped me out to understand what his aesthetic was. I got the piece, like I wouldn't call myself like a quick study. Like I need time to digest and to make it a part of me, a piece of music. So finally got all of it by like 5 weeks before the performance. But anyways, but that really helped me out a lot, learning a piece that way. And there's other composers who just, they insist, okay, this is the way it's supposed to go. So, which is good for me because it expands my own technique, stuff that I haven't dealt with before. But I enjoyed that because I like kind of growing with the music. So, and that's why I like commissioning composers too, because you're a part of that creation. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's an exciting learning process. Like
It
and
is.
what's so great is that each artist has their own individual voice, and you're learning through their perspective, which is, I think, fantastic, right?
Yeah.
I love hearing your just your approach, especially that story about not getting that composer's work until
Yeah.
very close to performance and premiere. But that's wonderful that you took the initiative to like do the research and learn about how this artist works, how they
Yeah.
think. That really
Yeah.
set a lot of groundwork, right?
But he was really interesting to work with. I loved his aesthetic, and he was all about, composer performer working together. So I really enjoyed, even though it was like a short period of time to learn the piece, it was a great experience for me. So
Let's talk about your role as an educator. You are a passionate educator, and with the depth of your performance experience, you have much to share with your students, I feel. There's always that point of transition, a shift from when a musician feels like they're still in preparation mode to the state where they feel in sync with the music and ready to perform. So, what advice would you give to your students to help them be more aware of this transition? Like, are there some hallmarks or signs that can give a student a sense of confidence that they're ready to perform?
yeah. Well, I've seen or heard a lot of students, in my lesson just before they have to walk out on the stage and do a recital. They're usually pretty nervous, and it brings me back to when I was in that position, and my teacher, who was Russell Hardenberger, a member of the percussion ensemble Nexus. And so I came into my lesson, and I was just like going on, I don't know what to do, "Oh, what if I do this? And and he says, Bev, just play for me, and he had this look in his eye, and this kind of like, just play for me, and that for me was really, that kind of said it all. It was like he was giving me a gift. It like, uh, play for me like I'm a member of the audience, because and I'm here because I enjoy what you do, so to be able to do that to my students, I often remind them, when you're in the concert hall, it's the best place to be, like especially Walter Hall at the University of Toronto, because it's got a beautiful acoustic. The marimba sounds great in that hall, so do the drums, and I say you're just going to really enjoy it. And I often think also that a concert hall should be highly revered, almost as if you're entering like a church or a synagogue or a mosque. There needs to be that kind of respect for where you are, and you as a performer are a part of that, and to kind of embrace it, and that way you can feel the warmth of your performance, as opposed to thinking that it's you're kind of detached. Michael Colgrass used to talk about this often, about, there's the three walls of the stage, and then there's this fourth wall in front of you, which you have to get rid of, because you're there to communicate with the audience. So I talk to my students often about that kind of thing, and I just make them go through the performance, and I'm usually, I don't nitpick at that point. I just yeah, it has to do with also confidence too. There are different periods in my life where I've been lacking in confidence, and sometimes that shows on stage. And sometimes where I've done the utmost in preparing myself, like mind-body connection, and doing my stretches and meditation and what have you, and I'm still not feeling comfortable. I had one instance like that when I was doing the Winnipeg New Music Festival, and it boiled down to I just didn't give myself enough time to learn a specific piece that I was to be performing. So there's always something it's never perfect. It's never been perfect for me. But what I find as I get older is that what's really important for me now is just being able to communicate with people, and my chamber music experiences and sharing music, and getting to know people that are around me, and it's just like kindness. It's like
It's so much bigger than all of us, and it's just an opportunity to be alive and to play
yeah,
music and
yeah.
to share that with wonderfully kind-hearted, hopefully, and like-minded beings, right?
And that's as I get older, that I realize in reflection that these are the most important things to me. And I just
Yeah.
feel so fortunate that I've had that for a good portion of my career. So I'm very thankful for that.
You're definitely one of those wonderful people for me. I love that I know you and that I can chat with you
Likewise.
about this. It's great. We've come to the end of our interview. Thank you again, Bev, for your time and for sharing your mindful perspective on the creative process and on musical preparation. And I can't wait to hear about your next project. And you did share your next project, which is exciting. So I do hope to check in with you to see how it's going, and hopefully we get a chance to collaborate again in the near future. I think that would be
I hope so.
wonderful. That would be so wonderful.
It sure
Yeah.
would be.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And to our audience who tuned in, thank you for being here. And see you next time on When Music Meets Mindfulness.
The end of chopped green scallion, pickled artichoke, and peppers.
Oh, yes.
Glorious.
Pickled artichokes and peppers.